Okay, I guess we're ready. The same rules apply here. You all get 2 minutes for an opening statement and 1 minute to respond to questions. Also, if you have any questions you want me to ask, Jerry, so that you can get them up here to me. Okay? All right, so we're going to go this way this time. Rodney, Grant will be 2 minutes.
1, 2, 1. Good evening, everyone. How you guys doing today? My name is Rodney Grant. I was born here in Washington, D.C., in D.C. General, with a redskin blanket on my back. I'm a father of 3 beautiful daughters. Ashley, Alexis, and Peyton. One of my daughters is a DCPS student here in Washington, D.C., like her father was in the past. I graduated from Sobin Junior High School and Dunbar Senior High School, where I was a standout athlete and scholar. I went on to attend Savannah State University, where I played football with the great Shannon Sharp, and I came back home to UDC, where I am a Firebird also. Big shout out to all the Firebirds. I also went on to work for the Department of Parks and Recreation, where I coach kids and I develop programs. And those same kids still call me coach to this day. I'll wait. But a lot of these kids still call me coach to this day. And I think that we have to start developing programs for our young people to be successful. I want to make sure that our young people have an opportunity to succeed. I want to make sure that our seniors are incorporated back into society. I want to make sure our displaced and returning citizens are shown the love, care, and respect that they deserve. And I want to make sure our city is safe and affordable to live in again. On November 8th, I'm asking you guys to vote for me. I'm number 4 on the ballot. And I look at this audience and I know I see change. And it's time for us to change the way we think, the way we're moving. And you can keep your party, but keep your thoughts independent. Thank you so much.
Sobin.
Well, we have a standing precedent, and I think it's a good idea. I am Dennis Sobin. I am the Libertarian candidate for mayor. This is the last forum that's taking place. We've been at several forums already and heard from a lot of residents, and I'll talk about that in a moment. My own position, I happen to be director of a group called the Safe Streets Arts Foundation. We work on rehabilitative programs for prisoners. We also work on changing laws to get people out of prison quicker and even not let them go there in the first place. It's a national organization. We've been doing it for 20 years, and I am the director. And as I say, we've been at several of these forums, and people have asked for quite a bit. Veterans Affairs, of course, the compensation for slave descendants, compensation for Union soldiers who fought to free slaves. About 400,000 died, and they deserve compensation as well. So there's a lot of programs that we need compensation, and we need more resources for. The question is, where do we get that money from? And I think I'm the only candidate that's really addressing that issue. And there's a simple word for it. We have to end the war that exists in D.C. It's a violent, highly costly war, and this is a war against drugs. And we have to decriminalize all drugs as we've done with marijuana, as we've done previously with alcohol, when alcohol was illegal in the district. And this is my main position. It would free a lot of money up for all of the programs we spoke about. Thank you.
Greetings.
This is Rhonda.
Thank you. Greetings. I am write-in candidate Rodney Hamilton. I'm running as an independent. I've been independent since 2012. I would like to mention that I am a proud daughter of the military. My father was an Army man. Ever since I've been brought home from the hospital, I've been a Washington. I've been educated here. I've been schooled in Ward 8 in the elementary, as well as Friendship. And I should have been in Blue, but I am the daughter of schizophrenia, as well as the daughter of drug addiction. And like so many of our citizens, my story, my lineage is here in the district. I am also a fellow Firebird, and I also attended Dunbar Senior High School. I am running as a writer candidate because I've been on the ground in the trenches in DC for the last 5 years, helping families with mental health, walking in homes with mothers with holes in the walls, and coming to the rescue of children who show up to school with voices. I believe that all of the problems that are facing our city currently can be routed back to negligent and poor leadership. Mental health, education, housing, the economic divide, and our youth must be addressed. I am running because I believe I am the answer. I'm an advocate, I care about my city, and I'm concerned that if we don't put the right leadership in place, we will have opportunists that will lead us down the path of more failed policies and programs. I'm asking you to write my name in on the ballot. I am Rhonda, R-H-O-N-D-A Hamilton, and I am the change that our city needs.
DC historians, has a write-in candidate ever been elected here?
Yes.
Yes. Who was it? And second term, right? Because you got kicked off the job. But more important. So that's well. This is a forum for veterans, and I'm going to just start by asking the questions. So, I'll start with you. What do you think, basically, that as mayor, you can do to improve the lives of veterans?
Well, as I said before, well, first of all, I'm not very knowledgeable on this issue, and I'll be frank about it. I would form a group of knowledgeable people, including the person who wrote the question on this, certainly propose to veterans to get some ideas. But as I go back, we have no money available in the district unless we can get it from another source. And if we can end the war, and I don't need to be just harping on that issue, but we do have a war going on in the district. If we can end the war on drugs, if we can get people out of prison who are there for that, we'd save a lot of money, and we could have more money for veteran programs as well as other issues. But as far as specific programs are concerned, I would rely on people who are knowledgeable in this area, which I am not. I'm focused to express my ignorance on it. Thank you.
We have a problem here in the district, and the importance of looking at new leadership is to be able to be willing to acknowledge that the current leadership is failing. We have many policies and programs that are failing. The HUD report came out and it talked about public housing negligence. It did not talk about the existence of negligence across the board with housing in our city. Unfortunately, our veterans who have been on the front line are caught up in our failed policies and programs. On the ground, I've assisted many of our veterans whose dignity is robbed daily, trying to fit into programs that don't have the proper oversight in the city. ERAP is the current only recognized resource for families in threat of being put out of their housing. And now ERAP is no longer taking applications. So who are they supposed to call? I have rented to homeless citizens for the better part of the last 5 years with no assistance in place. These programs are being run from contracts that are awarded with no oversight, and that is what keeps our veterans in jeopardy. Thank you.
This comes down to love, care, and respect in our city. I think we lost a lot of it for so many people, especially our veterans. Our veterans fought hard for us to be here today. They sacrificed so much, but we stopped the love, care, and respect for our veterans. We have our homeless veterans out on the street. The mayor, right now to this day, she doesn't give a one about it. And we got to stop this. We got to put the right services in place that's going to take care of our veterans, love our veterans, respect our veterans, give them the places that they need to go, affordable units that they need to have. We need to give them the tax breaks that they should have, that our city should have been giving our returning citizens and our soldiers. It's a problem right now that we look at our young kids that are dying every day on our streets, and we turn our backs on them. And we're turning our backs on our veterans, and we have to stop this today. We have to put the proper services in place that our veterans will look at it and say, I'm proud to be a veteran here in Washington, D.C.
So while you're there, I'm going to just keep standing. My next question, I'll start with you.
I like standing.
So every day, I get the police reports, NPD, if you sign up, I guess they send the police reports to you. So every day I'm looking at NPD, homicide, and then it says somebody got killed in the southeast, somebody got killed in the southwest, or northwest, or northeast. And you see this and you think, who's going to get killed tomorrow? I mean, it is one of those things where it seems to be an unending problem. As mayor, what would you do to try to have an impact on this problem?
Well, this is the biggest issue when I say we have a public safety crisis going on. It's bigger than we even know, because a lot of the times they don't even report on the things that are going on in the city. But when you take recreation centers out of our neighborhoods, when you take programs out of our school centers, and you take vocational programming out of our schools, and we don't have the things that they need as young people, then you have a ticking time off of where we're at today. 8 years ago, we had about 85 murders, and this year, last year alone was over 236, and we're headed to about 290. And if we don't get our young people the opportunities that they deserve, then we're going to be in trouble. It's going to be 400 murders like it was in the 80s, and we can't go back to that situation. So we've got to put programs back that kids care about. I have a program called Don't Shoot Guns, Shoot Cameras that's helped over 600 kids. I've also implemented another program called Beyond Your Block, where you take young people off their blocks, we took them to the White House, we took them to African American Museum, we took them to go-kart riding and Sky Zone and bowling, places where they can be mentored. But we need SEL programs in place, social and emotional learning programs that will affect our young people properly. And we have to put mental health services where our young people are failing. Thank you. Go ahead, get up there.
Well, I think we have to start with what I opened up with, with the war. We have a war going on in the district. People are getting shot, people are getting killed. We have the other side that doesn't respect the law. And my position is that the laws need to be changed so that they would be respected, so that the police would need to be respected. Young people are learning disrespect for the laws, and they're being very independent. They're protecting themselves or their drugs or whatever they're using with guns, and that's what the war is all about. So I think you have to, as long as we're going to continue with the war, we have to go along with the violence that goes on in the war. I mean, you don't have a war without violence. So I think we need to end this drug war now so that we will have respect for the laws and police. Thank you.
Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room. First and foremost, why is the mayor not here? Why is she not here to answer for the reality of the deaths of so many citizens that we serve? Show up, right? We got one half of the city that's surviving, living in survival mode, and the other half that doesn't understand it until the crime shows up on their doorstep. The councilman mentioned previously that east of the river, council member in his budget did not allocate funding for the community center programs. And so when the council chair is sitting here and says to us that he oversees the budget, well, why was there no question when the community centers east of the river were not funded? If our youth don't have programs and resources, then what else are they going to do but end up on the corner? See, we know this story. The truth of the matter is that we don't have a mayor that has been held accountable for the failure of her programs. We have these press conferences that come up, and the reality is we have no accountability. We're still burying our citizens, and it must end. She must show up. If she's not going to show up, how in the world do we keep voting her in?
If you have any questions from the audience that you gave to anybody writing, what's happening?
I gave it to you.
Oh, okay. I guess I got to figure out which ones they are.
Yeah, that's more of a question about, do you
Okay.
take developer
Oh.
contributions to your campaign?
Great. I'm going to ask you the question that I asked everybody else, and that is this issue. You've got a crime commission that came out with some, basically policy changes. One of the changes is that, based on what we've got today, that basically everybody has a right to a jury trial. And right now, that's not the case. You have to be facing more than 6 months in jail or prison before you have a right to a jury trial. The mayor has said that she opposes it because the courts don't have enough judges. The courts are 20 judges short. If you were mayor, let me see whose turn it is. I think it's your turn to start first. If you were mayor, what would you do to get these judges? Knowing, of course, now we're not going to have statehood right away, but you need the judges, I would think, pretty quick. What would you do to get the judges in that the judges have to be appointed basically by the federal government, the president?
Yeah, so let's talk about that. The reality is this. The crime bill needed to be updated. The crime bill saw an acceleration of mass incarceration of black and brown individuals. Let's be real. It is a right, a fundamental right for everyone to have a jury trial. The councilman mentioned that what they approved is going to be phased in. It is not for the mayor to decide not to offer rights to the citizens because of the failures or the shortcomings for the judiciary branch. They need to get it together. It's not okay to keep protecting this city's good record on the backs of black and brown people. The truth of the matter is that we failed to set up a parole system, which will keep more of our citizens incarcerated. The crime bill needed to be updated so that the black and brown community could receive relief. The judiciary branch of the government needs to put judges in place in the time frame allotted so that the blacks and brown citizens of DC do not have to keep sacrificing on their shortcomings.
We definitely need a whole overhaul of our judicial system right now, because it is failing our citizens here in Washington, D.C. And I do agree with RH that we do have to put a system in place that helps our citizens and our residents. When we don't have a parole system, this is what we have right now. We have a place where people are going so far away and their families are being so far broken up in our city, and they can't get to them. You know, it costs $1,500 to get a round trip to Denver to see your family, and that's the real problem. And under 6 months, you know, we still would like to have a trial. I would if I was in that situation. I want to make sure that, you know, I can be not guilty if I'm not guilty, or guilty if I'm guilty. So we got to put that back in place for our citizens and our residents here in Washington, D.C.
Well, I think I'm the only candidate who's actually been affected directly by this law that says you can't get a jury trial if you're facing less than 6 months. I was arrested once, and I noticed that the church is distributing condoms in the basement, which I think is a great idea. I was doing this 30 years ago, distributing it in the community among women, so-called street walkers, now referred to as sex workers, who really could use them. And I was arrested and charged with promoting sex work, then it was called prostitution. And I faced a few months in prison. I could not get a jury trial, and the judge was very incensed about what I did and just sent me to prison for a few months. At any rate, in the time I have, I would lobby as much as possible to get more judges, and in the meantime, I would let the existing judges work overtime to get the job done. Thank you.
So if you got a silver Lexus, tag number GD 5099, you're blocking somebody in the parking lot. Next question. We're going to start with Rodney and your next here. So here's the question. Should the mayor retain control of the public school system in D.C.?
I feel like, as mayor, I will give up that control of our public school system because I feel like the teachers and the administrators themselves are the people who are the professionals in this area. And I think that if you think you don't come from this area and don't understand the background, you can't really run a school system properly. So we got to put the real people who've been working day and night in these positions, who've been caring about our young people, caring about these schools. Let them have they say, and I just sit back and say if it's being run right or if it's not being run right. But it's about the teachers and the administrators. So I would definitely give up that position and control of the school. So. Bye-bye.
My answer is yes. Thank you.
3 seconds.
I tell you, in a political town, it's very hard to agree to something like this coming off of 8 years of failed policies and programs, right? We do want to empower our local administrators, teachers, and principals to be able to have a voice and to make decisions on governing about children's curriculums. However, because the federal government is so prevalent in our town, as the mayor, it is my political will to make certain that our children receive the mental health resources that they are needed. It is important that we make certain that since we have no trades, that we restore police and job academy understandings on the high school level so that we're not graduating into the corner. We have a post office that's having problems keeping employees. We have the MPE that is having trouble hiring enough officers. We have the unions crying out because they want to hire our children and be a part of this public safety crisis. The mayor has to stay involved right now because so much is a mess in this city. We do need to empower our local administrators. The mayor needs to stay accountable. The council needs to recognize a separate voice so that the children's education is taken care of. Thank you.
So we're going to go to closing statements. So Mr. Sobin.
All right, well, thank you all for being here tonight. I thank you for the food, the best food that we served before. It means a lot. Thanks to my lovely partner, Letitia, for being here. Stand up for a minute. She asked me specifically not to be recognized tonight. And that shows you that I am a man of independent thought. I am the first person on the ballot, and I ask you to vote for me. But whoever you vote for, don't vote for someone who did didn't show up here tonight.
Yes. DC, every night under fire and fear, our children go to sleep, concerned, afraid, wondering what tomorrow will bring. And for many of those children, it will be the same. Project Enough is a project that my mental health organization created to raise awareness to the plight of our children living in such a public safety crisis. Currently, it is my professional opinion that our mayor is governing from a reactionary standpoint. We need progressive leadership, forward thinking, and we need accountable government. I am a write-in candidate, and I'm asking you to write my name in, Rhonda, R-H-O-N-D-A, Hamilton, on the ballot. We have too many families that are failing, and it's time that we have a DC that works for all. I'm ready day one to overhaul those systems that are just not working for our community members. We have over 11,000 district workers that are distraught and afraid to speak up for the failed government that they witness daily. We must put an end to the gatekeeping and the power grab that has our families still living economically in a low standard of living.
Thank you.
Dennis ready to get out of here. Dennis don't want to be here no more. I think that laughter right there is the spirit that I want to bring back to DC. You know, we off a little bit, and I want to bring back that energy. And when you go to some of these neighborhoods, we have been to a lot of neighborhoods and look people directly into their eyes, and we see the pain. We see the frustration. We see that people are really hurting in this city. We've knocked over 90,000 doors in 19 months. We've gotten over 5,000 signatures to get on this ballot.
That's right.
They told us we couldn't do it. And I always say, who is they say? They say will always have you looking behind and not being the successful people that we are. But I say that on November 8th, that I know that we're going to win here in Washington, D.C.
Yes, sir.
Because God willing,
Speak, Greg.
it's going to give us the opportunity to make the change that people have been sleeping on for the last 8 years. And these months have been going on and going on. And I want to thank you guys. If you already voted for us, thank you. If you haven't voted, I'll ask you, please, number 4 on the ballot, because we're for you, to vote for us on November 8th. Thank you so much.
Next, we've got the at-large council candidates, Fred Hill, Doreen D. Marshall, Giuseppe Yossi, and David Swartzen.
Mr. Marshall, oh, what's that? Excuse me, sir.
Okay, let's go ahead and get going for the final panel we have here. It's going to be running for city council at large.
I need to talk to you about two things.
So the same rules apply. You each get 2 minutes for an opening statement. If you all have questions, write them down here. And
We're going to wait till this. No, come on, let me talk with you. Come on, baby, give me 1 minute to talk to her and I'll be ready.